Hello there, good afternoon and welcome to The Pulse, independent, fearless and credible journalism. That's what we are. We are coming to you live from our studios here in Kokomlemle on your digital terrestrial TV because we are free to air live on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 144. This afternoon on The Pulse, Parliament's Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee resumes public hearings on the promotion of proper human sexual rights and Ghanaian family values bill. Well, this afternoon we'll bring you details as the intersex community here in Ghana is asking Parliament to strike them out of that controversial anti-gay bill. Still in this package, scores of angry nation builders called beneficiaries hit the streets to demand the immediate release of their allowances, some of which have been in arrears for close to 1 year. We'll be speaking to some of the leadership and leading members of NAPCO program here on The Pulse.
We are starving.
Well, this afternoon you need to brace yourselves to pay more as the transport unions of Ghana hint of increasing transport fares across the country. The prices are also continuing to shoot up this afternoon.
You see, day in and out, the increased fuel. I don't know what is happening in this Ghana. Day in and out, the increased fuel. I don't know.
And so we asked that big question: how would you balance your personal budget if you can earn 20 Ghana cedis a day? In our Living Standard series today, we bring you the story of Kofi Jefta, a mechanic assistant who earns 20 cedis daily wage.
Life in Accra and then short form. Accra is expensive than short form.
Well, stay with us for details of these stories and more here on The Pulse with me, Blessed Sugan. The Pulse is, as always, brought to you by Global Communities Dignity Lu, affordable safe sanitation. We are streaming live on YouTube and all of our social media handles as JoyNews on TV. Tweet at us with the hashtag The Pulse. My personal handle is at Blessed Sugan. Always a pleasure to serve you here on The Pulse. Well, this afternoon, pressure is piling on government to release the allowances of beneficiaries of the Nation Builders Corps program, some of which have been in arrears for almost a year. Today, scores of angry beneficiaries hit the streets to register their displeasure over delays in the payment of their stipends. As you know, government in 2018 launched the Nation Builders Corps program to provide temporary jobs for some 100,000 unemployed graduates. Though the program was discharged in November 2021, an extension of the service period of some trainees has not been followed with the necessary financial commitment. My colleague Manuel Kranting engaged some of the protesters earlier today.
11 months, they have not been paid. What's your name? Seth Asamoah. Which model were you posted into? Which model were you posted into?
Revenue Ghana.
Okay, so tell me, what is your particular issue?
My particular issue, we've not been paid prior to election. We've not been paid, and prior to election, we were called for aptitude test at Accra Day, interview at Accra. At the end of the day, they posted their own people.
But we're told that the program had ended, and in November 2021, there was an exit plan for you. How is it that you are now asking for allowances?
They said we should go, but how can you let me go when you've not paid me? They were supposed to pay us for September, October. As I'm talking to you now, we've not been paid.
So you have not been paid for how many months?
For 2 months, including the extra time that you work for.
Okay, for 2 months, and he has not been paid. I just speak to a few more people. My boss, he has not been paid for 2 months. How many months have you not been paid? How many months have you not been paid?
Minus 3.
3 months. Okay,
Yeah.
Where do you work?
I'm at local government.
Local government. But we've been told that you've been asked to go home.
No, at that place, I've not been asked to go home. But, you know, there's order from the Minister of Finance. He stated it in the budget that NAPCO has been extended for a year. So by that, we are still working. And then NAPCO also released an official communique award. We should still be at post. But we don't know why, even up to now, we don't know our left and right, because the president promised us on the radio station of Bonnet Award he was going to make us permanent before the program comes to an end in October. But till now, we've not heard anything from the president himself. And the president also made it clear that what the agency should prioritize NAPCO personnel. But as I speak to you, local government recently released a list of what budgets of students.
And so what we're having now is the beneficiaries kneeling down and begging for government to pay them their allowances.
Because we are not being treated fairly. We are not being treated fairly. We were promised permanency after the 3 years contract, but we are still suffering. We are even being owed more than 11 to 1 year. Most of us have not been paid. We are hungry.
You are hungry. So how do you survive? Tell me. How do you survive?
We try to manage.
Okay.
We manage. We are always hungry. Our kids are hungry. Our husbands are hungry. We are all suffering.
So you are married with kids?
I'm married with kids.
How many kids do you have?
3.
You have 3 kids?
I have 3 kids.
So how do you fend for them? How do you fend for your children? Do they go to school?
Friends and family help out.
Okay.
Because they were hoping that at the end of the 3 years, I'll have permanency. But it seems that's impossible now.
But we have had
lied to.
You've been lied to?
NAPCO is a waste of time, efforts, and everything. We are tired.
But we're told by the finance minister that the government payroll is full, and really there's not much that can be done.
They shouldn't have promised us that then.
Okay.
Nana Akufo-Addo was aware before he promised us that by October ending we would have been employed. We are in institutions whereby they are employing people, strange people from outside. They are being employed and we are there. They are saying we should wait for the Nana Akufo-Addo because we are under contract with him. So NAPCO is more of a waste of time.
Impact. Even when we go to work, we don't even have money. Our in charges, at times be like this, I call my in charge to give me tea and tea before I go to work because the department, I'm in Hill Ghana. I'm a health professional. I have my PIN. This is my PIN. But they refuse to pay me. They said we don't have PIN. So 11 months now, from March 2021 that I received my money, I have not received my money again. This is my PIN. It's NAPCO that employed us, not Ghana Health Service. So it's the NAPCO people who has to pay us. They said Ghana Health Service and we the nurses, we don't have PIN. This is my evidence of my PIN. This is my PIN. So how can they say we don't have PIN? So they will not pay us for 11 months.
Well, so that's the picture of all that transpired a couple of hours ago. Fortunately, there's a need for us to expand this conversation. Let's go back to 2018, track the figures for you and the promises that the NPP government made to those who are beneficiaries now of the program. Indeed, back in 2018, that's the figure that you have on your screen right now. Government promised that it was going to deliver in total 100,000 jobs to these beneficiaries. So the target of government was 100,000 jobs under a number of public modules that was going to run under the Nation Builders Corps program. But the finance minister had confirmed to us, indicating that as of now, some 35,000 people had gone through training and had been deployed into the various modules under the Nation Builders Corps program. So that's the figure that you have on your screen right now. But this year, surprisingly, the challenge has been that in spite of the cry by the beneficiaries, government is yet to make payment. However, in the 2022 budget, government is projecting to spend some 520 million Ghana cedis on these personnel. So the question is, how soon would that money be readily available? The personnel are still demanding the government acts fast on this because some of them, the payments have been in arrears for close to 1 year. Fortunately, the leadership of the group, some of them are here in studio with us. Frank Kwanzaa is one of the beneficiaries of the program. We also have Nana Akon-Addo Safwa. It's good to be having you, gentlemen and lady, join us at this point. Let me start off with you. Well, I should do ladies first, isn't it? So, yes, let me start off with you, Nana Akon-Addo. What's your impression, really, about today's demonstration? Are you certain that what you were, the reasons for which you were embarking on the protest will be achieved?
Tried to embark on this demonstration for quite a long time, but it didn't come on because of certain reasons. So I'm very certain that as we have demonstrated, yes.
We'll be getting into the details of your demands, but Frank, just give us a picture of how life has been really for NAPCO trainees. We understand that some arrears have gone way back, almost close to a year, no payments at all. How has life been for your members of your coalition?
Thank you so much. Life has been very difficult for NAPCO trainees. Some of NAPCO trainees have to borrow money from their friends, from their family. Me, for instance, have to borrow money or, demand money from my mom, my dad. As a big man like me, I need to borrow all the time. And I can't be borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. So we are just appealing to the government to, pay or clear all the arrears and also the permanent jobs that they promised us. At least you should give it to us. That's what we are demanding for.
The modules that we have, we understand that we have about 7 modules.
7 modules.
Is this cutting across for everybody?
No, generally, government owes NAPCO trainees 6 good months. And with the Hill Ghana nurses, government owes them over 10 good months they have not been paid. So you can imagine the difficulties and the challenges that my brothers and sisters in Hill Ghana are facing through.
That's Hill Ghana?
That's Hill Ghana. Okay. Over 10
so
good
Hill Ghana
months.
is supposed to be for?
Nurses.
For nurses.
For the nurses.
Those are the hospitals.
Right.
And we at the Educate Ghana, we have Enterprise Ghana, we have Revenue Ghana, collecting taxes for this country. So honestly speaking, government has been unfair to NAPCO trainees. Yes.
But Nana Konadin, let me bring you in here. Many would say that at least government has made some payments since 2018, so you should give them some time to deal with the concerns. First of all, tell us how much do you earn as NAPCO personnel, and don't you think that government needs some time to address your concerns?
Okay, they are owing us for 5 months or 6 months, and we earn an amount of 699.52. Right?
Okay, so you're paid 699.52
yes,
at the end of every month.
Yes, please.
Right.
And it's not enough. Although they've engaged us, we have acquired certain knowledge and skills. Yes, of course, they've helped us because we were home doing nothing. In as much as we have been engaged into the corporate world, we have acquired some skills and knowledge, we still need to go further because they promised us that we are going to be maintained. So you've trained us. Why don't you maintain us? You'll be in a facility and they'll just post someone into the facility and you, the NAPCO personnel, have to train the person, which is very bad.
So what you mean to say is that you've gained a lot of experience,
yes.
having
so
gone through the program since 2018.
Yes,
right.
It shouldn't go waste. At least they should help us. Yes.
And Frank, I'm sure that, when you served notice that you were going to embark on a demonstration, initially the Ghana Police Service indicated that they were not willing to provide security for the period that you were targeting.
Yes,
were there any backdoor engagements, at least to provide you room to dialogue with leadership of NAPCO themselves? Have you made any attempts ever since to engage them?
With the NAPCO secretary, honestly speaking, you don't hear from them. We've written numerous of letters to our CEO. It got to a time where even WhatsApping, even when you send me a WhatsApp message, he will not respond. Once a time he told our president that we should pray.
Wow. What exactly are you praying for?
As we should pray so that our arrears can be paid. Where is it done for?
How can you work
How is
with
it
someone
possible?
and you tell the person to pray so that they will be paid? If you are telling us to pray so that we be maintained, fine. And that one we are hoping, and we know that it has to come on. So
what you're seeking to tell us now is that the arrears, this is what money that you deserve. Yes. By law, you've worked for it. You need to earn this amount of money. You've made attempts to understand why payments have not been made, and yet NAPCO is telling you all you can do now is to pray.
Yes.
Are you considering any legal options at this point as a group? I don't know what discussions.
For now, you have not taken such action. We've just back on demonstration. We are hoping that the president will address our concerns because we are facing a lot of challenges. NAPCO trainees have worked diligently, and we expect government to fulfill their parts. Why did government even introduce a career pathway where trainees are to select either permanent job or further learning or entrepreneurship skill? We've opted for all these options, and you're telling us to go back home and recruit another trainees. I can't think far. Look at the resources you've invested into NAPCO trainees, the experiences you've had so far, and you are telling us to go back home and recruit another 100,000. Oh my God.
So that's what you're hearing. That
is what you are hearing. Yes, they're about to recruit new trainees.
Right. We'll confirm all of that shortly. But let me come to Nana Konedu. The issue about the extension itself. Somewhere last year, late last year in November, the directive was giving that many of you had to go home. Eventually, there was a subsequent counter directive from the Vice President's office indicating that your program may be extended. What personal message was relayed to your members at that time? Okay. Clarify that for us.
Okay. They sent messages on our portal that our contract has been ended, so we needed to go home. So later they came back, and that wasn't sent on our portal. They said it, I think, on radio that we should be at post. And we being at post, they didn't state any payment terms with us. They just said we should be at post. And your boss will know that you have to come to work, and you don't have the means to. So how do you go to work? We don't have.
So you were asked to stay on, stay on for a while.
And no communication has been given again as to when. I mean the time we need to stay at post. They haven't told us anything. So we still demand answers. In fact, our CEO is not really communicating anything to us at all. Sometimes when you have a problem, you will struggle to even get someone to talk to. And our regional, our district coordinators are supposed to channel our grievances to the regional coordinator, but when you ask them, they themselves, they don't even know what to tell you.
And since you're talking about the district coordinators, earlier today when you staged the demonstration, you went to one of the offices in the Greater Accra region. One of the coordinators told you, in fact, he was denying the fact that some arrears has gone way into 1 year.
The regional coordinator.
What's your response to him, really? The fact that some NAPCO coordinators are saying the picture you're painting out there is not real.
Then we don't know what to say again. If the picture we are painting out there is not true, we wouldn't be out there. It means we are hurt, we are frustrated. So everything we are doing is the truth. Yes.
Right. And Frank, let's talk about the details of the petition that you presented today, because obviously the back and forth is there. NAPCO says, we don't owe you that much. You say that's the case, and then you are making some more demands. Where did you send your petition to, and what demands really are you making based on the documents that you presented?
We petitioned the NAPCO Secretariat, and what we are demanding for is to clear all arrears and also mechanize us into the mainstream work.
That's the main thing.
That is
your concern is about
permanent jobs.
Yes.
We need permanent jobs, and the president has promised us.
And I'm sorry to ask this question. What impression were you under at the time you were rolling onto the Nation Builders Corps program?
Good. It was a temporary job.
Contract, right?
It was a temporary job. But the president himself promised us. Went to one of your sister stations at Kumasi. He said over 73,000 NAPCO trainees will be mechanized at the end of October. We are in February, and government is not communicating to NAPCO trainees. The NAPCO Secretariat itself is not speaking to any of us. They are not picking our calls. We send letters, no reply. We are frustrated.
And of course, they've given us an extension for 1 year period to be at post, but they haven't said anything about it. We are at post for 1 year. And what are you saying about it?
So all you want now is answers on these demands.
Yes, we need answers.
Right. And you are counting as well on the president's promise that they would roll you on board. But how about the point that the Employment and Labour Relations Minister has made that some of your members have indeed been rolled into the system?
That is the Hill Ghana. Even with the Hill Ghana, it's a section of Hill Ghana.
So it's a fact that some people have got
a section of them. That is only, we have 7 models, and you have mechanized only one of the models, that the Hill Ghana. Even though Hill Ghana, a section of them that were mechanized into mainstream work. Aside that, but 80% of NAPCO trainees are unemployed. We are just in this temporary work, taking 700 cedis.
Nana Konedu, which of the modules are you on, and are you then saying that most of your colleagues don't have permanent employment. I mean, or none of them. They've not taken any of them into them. Not even one.
No, for my model, I don't
Right.
know. I can't tell for my model.
Right.
I'm Enterprise Ghana, and I can't tell for that.
So yours actually will focus on the private sector, I guess.
Anywhere.
Okay, so you could be placed anywhere at all, and you're with.
I mean, educate Ghana.
Right. So at least the education sector we know needs some teachers, right? Or
yes.
So
there are a lot of vacancies.
Are you telling me that we don't have not even one?
They've not recruited even a single person in educate Ghana.
Why is it taking you this long for the group to come out and to tell Ghanaians that this is the situation we're facing? Because for you to be quiet for more than a year, were you intimidated, prevented from speaking and airing your grievances?
We wrote numerous of letters, but they were not responding.
And we were hopeful.
We were hopeful. The president assured us, and we believed our presidents. Now, what I can say, like Medafo Adadami, the president of, I don't know, whether the president of lied to NAPCO trainees, because he himself is not communicating to us. And this policy or initiative was designed by the MPP government. And we are frustrated, honestly speaking. We are frustrated.
If you're watching us now, we understand that there's a crunch meeting going on as we speak. The leadership of NAPCO, together with some government officials, are planning a detailed response on this matter. We're hoping to raise some of the officials to speak to us. But Frank, you have our listeners out there and also some officials who are listening to us right now. I'll give you the opportunity each to speak to them and to send your direct message. At least use this platform as well to send that message to the president. You're very much concerned about the president. So here you go.
Mr. President, wherever you are, we are begging you. Yeah. NAPCO trainees, we are begging you. Please fulfill your promise. You promised us to mechanize us into the mainstream work. We are begging you. And also, clear all the arrears. You own us, the Hill Ghana nurses, over 10 good months. And with the General NAPCO, government owns us 5 good months. We have parents, we have family, we pay bills. Mr. President, we are on our knees. Please come to our aid. NAPCO trainees, we are suffering.
And for you, Nana Konedo?
Okay. I would like to say a big thank you to government for giving us this opportunity, because after all, we were home and this opportunity was given to us. So in as much as you've trained us, you need to help us get something to do. They said we should embark on this entrepreneurial, yes. And not everyone can be an entrepreneur. Not everyone. And even that, if we have to, where is the capital we need to go and start with? You get it?
Yeah.
So please, they should really help us.
And I can imagine, Nana Konedu Safwa and also Frank Konsa, I'm grateful that you've been able to make some time for us. In fact, this is not the end of your demand, I guess. You have some actions to roll out if government doesn't address your needs? Yes,
we shall do more demonstration, region by region, district by district.
Oh, you intend to even go across the country?
Yes, please.
Right.
That's our next move.
If nothing is done.
Yes,
are you giving some timelines to government to deal with this?
We are giving government 2 weeks to clear all the arrests, and within 3 weeks to 4 weeks or a month's time, government should start, mechanizing all NAPCO trainees.
That's what you're hoping for.
Yes, please.
Let's extend this conversation a bit. Just spend some few more minutes. I understand you're tired out of the demonstration today, but Austin Game is a labor analyst. Fortunately, he understands all of this and can break this down for us. So, Mr. Game, thank you for your time here on The Pulse. So, here we are. The demand is, Mr. President, we need permanent jobs. And that's the demand from NAPCO personnel. What's your take on all of these developments?
Well, thank you. Let's be honest. The first thing is we all heard the day the NAPCO was established. I recall the president saying that this is a stopgap measure to sort of assist in having our brothers and sisters who are graduates or from various endeavors of learning, to enable them to be prepared for the world of work. So the initial thing is that they will go through 3 years kind of training and development to enable them to be ready for the job market. If that is acceptable by all of us, have we come to conclusion that we've done 3 years? What will be the next step? The next step is to integrate them into the job market. I am not too sure we expect that they will employ people in the civil service, because the civil service have got number of people they must employ, and beyond that they cannot take. The public service is supposed to be providing some service that are either linked to profit or making, or otherwise. Because if you take example, civil Ghana Airport Company. Ghana Airport Company is a public organization, all right, but it's supposed to make profit also. They cannot employ people who are not ready for them, and also they can't go beyond the number they can take. So obviously, there must be a conscious effort, expand the economy, expand the private sector through various means to enable people to take their destiny into their hands and all be employed in such private sectors.
So what you mean to say on this point is that clearly it appears that, unfortunately, and that's the fear, that these NAPCO trainees may not get their permanent jobs they are seeking for.
Look, let's not deceive ourselves. If anybody is under the illusion that they'll be employed in the public service for purposes of permanency, I do not think that it will happen today or tomorrow.
Okay, but how about the promise? How about the promise that government made? We've had the president, we've had the employment and labor relations minister. These are people that gave hope, at least to these trainees, that they may be rolled on into the system. How about that?
Yeah, they should help them. I support that our brothers and sisters in that field should be helped, should be assisted in diverse ways. Some of them can become entrepreneurs. Some of them who found favor with an employer, whether private or public, that needs their services and they have the requisite skill, not experience. Experience is really not the issue. Then they can employ them. If not, with time, they will find their foothold in the system. It's a very tough thing. Employment creation is a function of the economy. And so we should all find ways and means of getting government to expand the economy properly, plan the economy properly, and that way it will be a better thing for us. Right. And also, like I said, entrepreneurship is about self-employment. That's the first program I did in my life far away in Geneva. Self-employment is very important. Otherwise, and the self-employment, of course, you can't just jump into doing self-employment, but you have to begin small and gradually. Some people started selling ice water with just 500 Ghana cedis. Today, they are big people in this country. We know them. They have houses, they have cars, they have all kinds of things. They are married people. So clearly, I'm in sympathy with my brothers and sisters in the situation, and I doff my heart for them. I also pray that the employer government will find money to pay them the arrears, so at least they can put their body, spirit, and soul together and journey on. That's how it is.
Austin Game is a labor analyst. I'm grateful for your time. Frank and Co obviously are not happy about the grim outlook there. You have a challenge with what he was saying?
I'm in Educate Ghana, and I know there are a lot of vacancies over there. Why can't you just maintain us instead of making new personnel there? Day in, day out, they're bringing in new trainees. Why can't you maintain us? This has not to do with any... government should maintain us, that's all, because we knew there are vacancies there.
Okay, we'll continue this conversation certainly on the JoyNews channel. Thank you so much, Frank and Nana Konedu, for joining us. But it's rather another development that's coming through. We understand that fuel prices are up again, with some oil marketing companies selling products at nearly 8 Ghana cedis. Now, Total Oil, for instance, has all of their products currently selling at 7.990. Goel and Shell are also yet to adjust their prices. Cumulatively, this will mean more than 1 cedi increment in the price build-up of the product in just 2020 alone. Here in the Greater Accra region, we've been speaking to some motorists who expressed disquiet about the current price trends.
It's going to affect me because, you see, day in and out, they increase fuel. I don't know what is happening in this our Ghana. Day in and out, they increase fuel. I don't know. So it definitely, it's like, it affects me a lot. Okay, so in terms of transportation problem and all that. Today, this morning that I had a free car, so I didn't feel it too much for today. But when I'm going back, Bams I have to take car, and these things are increased. He has to immediately, because it's too much. It's too much. So that is it. Yeah. All right.
Because the passengers will talk. If you charge them, they will talk. Because the fuel prices is too going far this time around. Every week they are increasing the fuel prices, so we can't get money to save and to do some things. So it affects us other ways, reduce the fuel price for us, because it will affect us every other ways. It will affect us every week. They increase the fuel, so it's not good for do that.
Every day they continue to increase these fuel prices. And this morning when I came, see how I've bought a fuel like 500, but it's not full out to the extent that I used to buy fuel. So I don't know what to do, and we don't know. Even everybody is complaining. Everybody is complaining. Even our boss too are complaining about this fuel matter. So we don't know what we want to do so that the government. So we are trying to plead to the government. It should make something about it so that we can see that everything is actually giving us a lot of problem, because my budget has become higher. The increment, because of the increment, so it has become higher, and I can't do anything about that.
Oh, this time if you go work, you don't get anything because of fuel increment. You work, you take your money buy for all money you take buy for. You don't get anything to do anything.
The situation in Kumasi is no different. Drivers are threatening to increase their fares as well.
It affects my pocket, and then it affects my family as well, my budget. If I'm to use 200 cedis as my budget for the month, it is going to affect me like 250 or possibly 300. And then one other thing is you wouldn't be aware, so that you plan. You will just wake up, you will see that the fuel has been just shoot up. Because once we are not the sole producer of the fuel, I think they should put things in place, and then we should be informed that this is what's going to happen, so they also plan towards it.
Seriously, the way the fuel is moving on, it is affecting us seriously. Even sometimes, if you didn't work hard, how to get your sales is a problem. So we are pleading to the government to do something for us. The last time when I bought 50 cedis, I see some change, but now when you bought 50 cedis, in fact, it's very bad.
But nowadays, me tobe 1.7 I think say entim for me pon. Yeah. And I was a higher pa. Me management this nowadays me timi nyadwuma class like I used to do in previous. And why manager I want to me nyadwuma hwe fee.
First me top petrol 2 gallon kra me timi dey adwuma for the whole week. By 6 years can one day. Me top kra na endru 2 weeks no kra week kra intimi for me ntwa. 6 years auto anasa.
Well, that's not all on this issue of the fuel price hikes in Tamale as well. Residents say the cost of living is actually becoming unbearable. Justice Beidu has been interacting with motorists in Tamale.
Every day I use fuel
and then the consistent increment of the fuel, especially from last year December till now, has a lot of effects on our lives, especially so that we have so many families to take care of, and the economic hardship in the country too. We don't generate a lot, and we have to spend a lot, especially on fuel. Even those who do not even use motorbikes or cars are suffering because of the increment, because it has a ripple effect on everything in the market. Market women, if you are going to buy something now, it has increased because people complain that transport fares are going up and all those things. So it has affected almost everything in the market. And since we go to the market to buy things, we go to pay school fees, and then we still buy fuel, we suffer it double. And so I think something must be done to bring down the cost of the fuel so that it will be affordable to the average Ghanaian citizen.
I use fuel every day because I have my own motorbike that I use to go to work and to go to farm. So I use fuel every day, anytime. And of late, the fuel prices or increment have affected my budget in going to my workplace of farming, because I also use my motorbike to if you like, convey my food stuff from farm, and it's become very difficult for me to do so in a long period because of the increment of fuel prices. Right now, if I buy fuel 10 cedi, I can use it 2 days. From my place, from Nanton to...
Well, that's not all on the story. In fact, you need to brace yourself, because very soon you'll be paying more as transport fares because the public relations officer for the GPRTU, Imora Abba, says they are scheduled to meet government next week to negotiate transport fare adjustments. Now, he spoke earlier on News Desk.
30% increment, and finally we were down to 20. Government was stick to 10%, of which we asked for postponement. Fortunately for us, there has been another upward prices at the pumps. So next week we are going back. It is good. All these things are happening. So I believe when we get back, we will get a very good price for our people. Don't forget that we think about our industry and think about the passengers as well. But this is just too much for us. It's just too much for us. We can't no longer bear the situation in which we are. Our industry is collapsing. And it is our hope and belief that we shall get a very good bargaining percentage for our people.
So this will result in increase in fares, right?
Yes, we have no choice. We were aware that we started by scrapping out of some of the taxes and margins, of which government was not prepared to do that for us. We have no option than to come out with upward adjustment in lorry fares, of which we are negotiating now. We have to meet them and present what transpire at the negotiating table before going back. Unfortunately, for us, we have experienced another upward adjustment, which has reinforced our argument. So we strongly believe we shall get very good bargaining power back to our people.
Well, another driver transport union is threatening to increase their fares even before GPRTU finalizes with government on the appropriate fares to charge. Charles Danso is with that group. He's chairman of that coalition, the Ghana Committed Drivers Association. Fortunately, has joined us via the telephone lines now. Good afternoon to you, sir. Welcome to the Pulse. So, why are you not patient enough just to allow negotiations to continue between your mother union, GPRTU, and then government, so we could have a final decision at the end of the day?
Arona, thank you for having me. Please, do you hear me?
Loud and clear, sir.
Very good. There's no patience of increasing fare at this point. Because if there is a negotiation, how come when we wake up this morning, fuel price has gone up to 36 cedis per gallon? How come? How come? There's no waiting anymore. Tomorrow, 30% is working. GPRTU is aware all the transport unions is aware. Because now, you know, government has no hand in the petroleum prices. It is automatic adjustment formula. 2015, government gave that mandate to the BDCs and the OMCs to go and buy and sell to the drivers so that we also pass on to the final consumer. So there's no waiting anymore. Tomorrow, 30% is working.
When you say that it's taking effect starting from tomorrow, we know that there's always a convention. The point has always been that you engage through that tripartite arrangement that we have, GPRTU, government and other stakeholders, and then you arrive at the final price. Yes, I understand you're highly deregulated now, but how about respecting the convention that has always been?
If you talk about convention, it's the old days when government was subsidizing fuel. And as I'm speaking, we have to get it clear that since 2015, His Excellency John Mahama era, he said they can no more subsidize fuel. So we have to go on automatic adjustment formula. So if there's convention, it ended at 2015. It ended at 2015. So
but I understand, just hold on for me, Charles. I understand that you have very good relations with GPRTU. That's your mother association. What's the level of engagement between GPRTU and the committed drivers, and why are you not waiting on them? Because they are expressing quite a different position on this matter. You don't have a common voice on this issue.
In fact, this GPRTU is a union, Ghana Committed Drivers Association, True Drivers, Concerned Drivers, IDITU, JAP2, all other transport operators. We are different bodies. We are different bodies. So if you say GPRTU, if there's a convention and now the convention has passed on, so how come? If we have to meet somebody or some institution or some ministry, it might be the MPA and the Energy Ministry. How come every day and then they increase fuel? So please, we are private transport operators. We don't drive Ayalolo, neither STC or Metromass. We are private operators. So from 26 cities last year, where we increased transport fares up to 36 cities. So are you telling us we don't have to increase fares?
Okay, when you engaged the transport minister, exactly what did the transport minister say? At least we're getting indications that government was asking for time to address the concerns that you have. Is that the case?
My dear brother, if in marriage, and one supposed not to marry again, there's a breakup, isn't it? So 2015, there was a breakup. And now, as I'm speaking, let me ask one question. Is Total filling station for government? Is Shell filling station for government? Is Star Oil for government? Is Puma for government? Please, are you there?
I'm with you, sir.
Answer me.
Okay, obviously the answer is no, but give us a picture.
No,
well, let's. I get the point. So let's make progress.
A minute, please.
Right.
Minute.
Okay. Very well.
So how come if I buy fuel from Total, and then Shell at 36 cities, for me to wait for government, whereas we know at 2015, government sold us, is sold, S-O-L-D, sold us to the BDCs. Who are the BDCs? It's the same MPP NDCs.
Okay, so I get the point then. But here's what we need to know:
no,
that consumers, yes, but just hold on.
If it comes to the OMCs, who are the OMCs? It's MPP NDCs. So do you mean if I also go to Total and buy fuel at 36 cities, should I come and then sell it to the final consumer and make loss?
So I appreciate the business point you're making there, and that's why I want us to move forward. The consumer out there is bracing to pay more, obviously, but we need to understand the numbers. How many of your members will be imposing this 30%
My brother,
increment
we are
from tomorrow?
many, and even GPRT will comply. GPRT will comply with this 30%.
So you mean to
30%?
So you mean to say from tomorrow? You mean to say from tomorrow? Just hold on for me, Charles. You mean to say from tomorrow, all commercial transport operators will begin to implement that directive?
That's it. If GPRT says he's not part of it, so if you see a tractor written by GPRT, you bought it, they have been increased. If you see a tractor with no identification, they've increased it.
Well, we'll wait to see what then happens tomorrow. Charles Danso, we'll definitely get back to you, but I'm grateful for your time this afternoon. Issues of the fuel price hike is even getting reactions from Parliament, because we understand that the MP for Bongo, Edward Bauer, says government needs to take a second look at certain tax components in the price build-up. Listen to his arguments then.
We have always believed that there are some taxes that could be taken out. And even if you take them out, they will not have an effect on the services they are supposed to fund.
Right.
We have given the example of one. Let's even use the SPT, that's the Special Petroleum Tax. I have always argued that the basis for which the Special Petroleum Tax was introduced into the price build-up those reasons are not tenable today. They are not tenable today because the basis for which that tax handle was introduced was the fact that we had first low production, crude production, right, because we had a challenge with the FPSO Kwame Nkrumah. We had, prices of the international market, crude prices in the international market collapsing to as low as $30 per barrel. So because of these two things, these two factors, low production and then the low prices. Right. So our petrol revenues that were captured in the budget of 2015 there was going to be a shortfall on that. Right. So to put up a block, to take care of that, then the SPT, that's the Special Petroleum Tax, was introduced. The question I ask myself today is the fact that now we do not have low prices. Now we are hovering around, look, our benchmark revenue that we put in the budget was $62 per barrel. Now we are doing around 90, so already there's a windfall in that. Two, we are not producing like 70 barrels per day. We are producing almost 200,000 barrels per day. So if you have these two factors, it doesn't make sense to still keep this SPT in this price builder. Right. And the SPT alone is 46 pesos on almost a cedi on the price builder. So if you were to expunge this, you know that the effect it will have on the on the price. Two, was indicated that look, the issue of this sanitation and pollution levy that was introduced somewhere last year. Right. Look, every district assembly, every municipal assembly, every metropolitan assembly, on quarterly basis, anytime the district assembly's common fund is released to the assemblies, you have, they deduct 120,000 Ghana cedis from source. Right. For sanitation and for fumigation. The question you then ask yourself is that, if anybody in Ghana falls under one of these things, either a district, a municipal, or a district assembly, if we are already being charged about 120,000 Ghana cedis on a quarterly basis for sanitation, why do you then introduce another 10 pesos per litre on the price builder? So that can go. Well, fuel price hikes are not the only concern in these times, because in these times of rising food prices and stagnant daily wages, a mechanic assistant, Jefta, has found a way of balancing his domestic budget. He eats one heavy meal, usually late lunch, so that he can save some money
for rainy days. Now, his daily wage is 20 Ghana cedis. My colleague, Mami A.C. Thompson, reports that many people are cutting at least one meal to survive what they call hard times. There's more in this episode of Joy News Living Standard Series.
Life in Accra and then Southbourne. Accra is expensive than Southbourne.
First near to weigh 16 cities and away 23.
I'm moving. Last year, only one baby by this year, you're only 55 cities.
If nothing is done, that we are going to experience some price increases.
Daniel Kwaman is 16 years old. When he completed junior high school, he was having a hard time staying in the coastal town of Salt Pond in the central region. He wants to be successful so that he supports his family financially. So, he relocated to Accra to learn to be a mechanic. According to him, there was no future for him at Salt Pond. But life in Accra is squeezing him 4 months after migration. Accommodation is currently not a problem because he lives with his big brother. Daniel's problem is the cost of food. He visits popular beans joint in Kokomlimli, Chop Time Express, for lunch. To make ends meet, he misses breakfast and makes up for a big lunch. He spends at least 10 cedis on a bowl of beans, gari, fried plantain, and an egg.
Life in Accra and then Southbourne. Accra is expensive than Southbourne. Southbourne, if you get 10 cedis, you eat morning to the evening. But Accra, if you get 10 cedis, you eat in the morning.
He expected an easy life in Accra, but has been facing a rude economic shock for the past 4 months.
10 cedis in the Southbourne, you can buy food, kenke, rice, gari, and then other things. But so Accra, you use 10 cedis to buy wachi, it's finished. 10 cedis has lost. Then afternoon, you use 5 cedis. You say, oh, I'm buying this food, kenke, and then frying fish. You say 5 cedis Southbourne. Use 5 cedis to buy rice, gari, kenke, and then other things. You get change, maybe 2 cedis to buy drink.
He is still learning to adjust to an ever-expensive Accra. His 15 cedis daily wage is mainly spent on food and water. Savings for now is out of the question.
15 cedis. I used to buy, maybe if I can buy food, I spend 10 cedis for food, and then pure water, 2 cedis. And then maybe, let me say, drink and then bread is also 3 cedis.
His senior colleague, Jefta, is experiencing similar struggles. Even though he has been in Accra much longer, it is still difficult to afford food these days. To save some money from his daily wage of 20 cedis, he eats just one heavy meal a day.
My daily chop money is not fixed, like as you said. So it depends on what you get paid. So let's say today if you've no work, so I don't think today I'll get more than 20 cedis. That's how I live. Yeah. I save, but that also depends. Unless maybe the day I get around, let's say 50 cedis or 30 cedis. Yeah, for that one I can save like 10 cedis or 5 cedis. But if it's less than 30 cedis, saving will be very difficult for me.
Kenke price has shifted from 2 cedis to 3 cedis at Kenke Arena. This is because customers have been complaining about the shrinking size of the 2 cedis Kenke. So to tame wagging tongues about the size of the Kenke, a sizable one has been increased to 3 cedis, which is a 50% increase in just the beginning of the year. Food vendor Na says despite the high cost of groceries, she manages to serve customers quality and affordable food.
A bowl of KK is 3 cedis.
A bowl of KK is 3 cedis
It was
now.
2 cedis last year, but because of the hike in prices of most of these raw materials like maize, the husk, and almost everything used in making the kenke is now expensive. So.
Kenke lovers Cassiel and Parkwesi explain how they budget to keep on eating at their favorite kenke joint.
So roughly everything here costs 20 cedis. Okay, so one bowl each for every person, and I got gizzard and fish. Relatively it has increased. You know, when fuel prices go up, everything goes up, so it has increased. Yeah, because looking at the way prices have gone up, it has also affected the price of kenke. So let's say previously we were selling for 2 cedis, now selling for 3 cedis, so you have to accommodate all that cost.
We all know due to the fuel price increase, you know, we've got to spend a lot more on fuel. And then on food, I take coffee in the mornings at work, so it's only at lunchtime that I eat a heavy meal. And that shouldn't be more than 25 or 30 cedis. Oh yeah, it's good. Maybe she should serve some and see how good it is.
Traders have had to adjust the prices to cushion their businesses.
25, 10 cedi, 50.
Now, well, any boy there, sir.
Hey, well, I said, yeah, well, I have coffee, before you see, said, yeah, well,
that's 20 rubber, and 70 Ghana. 70. We talk to 900. I said, I'm at it. You see, I did 50 Ghana. Yeah, I did 30. Kaya obey you, obey Jimmy. I said, I obey your mother to the Jimmy. It do the expenses to come on. Almost 1,000.
This one I said the 40 cedis. This one, first I said the 10 cedis, now the 5 cedis I will take out. This one is 25, but now I come down, I will say the 15 cedis. Somebody come back, 12 cedis I will take back, no bucket.
I'm way crown a yam, I'm way. Last year, I only one do baby. By this year, you're only 55 cedis.
Recent inflation figures released by the Ghana Statistical Service saw inflation pegged at 13.9% as of January. Inflation in the prices of food has also skyrocketed. The content manager at Isoko, Francis Ejay, breaks down the figures, explaining what can be done to realistically tackle the growing inflation.
Currently, the food inflation is at 13.7. If we are doing 13.7 at the beginning of the year, we are not expecting any more volumes, large volumes of commodity or crops coming in. We need to do basically 3 things. 1, we need to improve on our post-harvest management of the commodities that we have. 2, we also will have to improve on our farming methods and practices. We need to go the modern way where we can use irrigation, where we can use greenhouses and all that to cultivate all year round. And the 3rd thing is that we also will have to check how we transport and cut these commodities.
Indeed, Accra stay by plan. For Living Standard Series, Mami A.C. Thompson.
Let's take you to Parliament now. The Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee resumes public hearings on the promotion of the proper human sexual rights and Ghanaian Family Values Bill. There's more as we bring you details as the intersex community in Ghana is asking Parliament to strike them out of the controversial anti-gay bill. Stay with us here on The Pulse. Well, thanks for staying with us here on The Pulse. Now we need to take you to Parliament. The intersex community in Ghana is asking Parliament to strike them out of the controversial anti-gay bill currently before the Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee. According to the community, their conditions are biological rather than sexual, and that they cannot be criminalized. Parliament's Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee today resumed public hearings on the promotion of the proper human rights, sexual rights and Ghanaian Family Values Bill 2021. We know 9 groups, including the sponsors actually of the bill and organizations, are expected to make presentations to the committee on whether they are for or against the bill. Fortunately, parliamentary correspondent Parker Wilson is joining me now with details. Parker, what more can you tell us about which other groups have been making presentations today before the committee?
All right, so blessed, we have the Assemblies of God Church also making a statement representation before the committee earlier today, and Interfaith Diversity of West Africa group also making a presentation. But let me tell you about the Assemblies of God Church. When they made their presentation, they also reiterated concerns by other religious groupings that the practices of homosexuality threatens the human existence. And so they are presenting their memorandum in support of the approval of the bill. They want the bill to be passed so that we can criminalize activities of homosexuality. But I must say that the Interfaith for West Africa had a strong reservation over the call by the Assemblies of God Church to support the bill. What they said was that even though they believe in God, they are Christians, homosexuals are also children of God and must be treated with some compassion and some love. And so if this bill is passed into law, what it means is that it's going to promote hate speech, mob action against homosexuals. And he cited a number of instances here in Ghana where persons perceived to be homosexuals have been lynched one way or the other, or even have been attacked one way or the other. And so the point he made was that if the bill is passed into law, it is going to embolden the police to misbehave towards homosexuals. Again, it is going to embolden our neighbors and even relatives and family or friends of these homosexuals to abuse them. And so he believes that it will be proper and safe for this bill to be disregarded by Parliament so that homosexuals would have the right to live. And that was his position. In fact, I must say that this generated a number of debates amongst members of the committee, asking him questions about where is the data to support the claim that homosexuals have been assaulted or have been attacked in this country over the last few months because of the advocacy or even the introduction of this bill. Well, the data wasn't provided, but however, he made the point that there are sufficient evidence if you speak to homosexuals, and he has spoken to some of the homosexuals, and they have confided in him that they live in fear, they are under threats, that even if they come out to say that they are homosexuals, people, their friends, could even lynch them. So the Assemblies of God Church then had to say that, well, the point they are making is that though they agree that we should criminalize it, we should also be guarded and show them love and compassion. We shouldn't attack them. So that was the conversation around the LGBT.
Right, and Parker, I'm very much interested in those of the MPs who are supporting or sponsoring this bill. Indeed, we know that some of them are members actually of this committee hearing all that's happening. What's been their reaction to these counterclaims to the bill?
Right, so I must say that Sam George himself, being the main proponent of this bill, was present. And I must say, blessed, that from day one, he has been consistent, listening to the concerns from especially those who are against the bill and answering their questions or their concerns. In fact, sometimes he sought some clarity. One key example is about where the intersex group made the argument that they have to be taken out of the bill because their condition is biological. Some judge raised some questions about who determines that biological condition. Obviously, the doctor. So if you are intersex, the doctor will not have to conduct a test on you to know that which hormones are more than whether the male hormones are more than the female hormones. And so if a doctor does that, obviously, if the male hormones are more, then they can preserve the male organ so that it can show features of being a male and not a female.
Right.
And so he disagrees with call that if the intersex are involved in the bill, they will be criminalized. So that conversation ended abruptly, however. But I must say that in the chamber, there's been conversation about UTAG, and you know that they've been having this running battle with government. Today, ranking on the Education Committee has told us that UTAG has agreed to call off the strike, and so they are hoping that on Monday, UTAG members will return to the classroom.
So, Paka, just a quick one, before you have.
They want.
Right, just a quick one before you have a conversation on that. Is this as a result of some engagements at the parliamentary level? Is that what's happening now?
Yeah, that's correct. In fact, today the Parliamentary Committee on Education was scheduled to meet UTAG, the government that representing the Education Minister and also the Labour and Employment Minister. So yeah, they were in the meeting today. In fact, it was a long hours meeting. I've been told that the meeting took about 4 hours in there where the members of the committee sought to persuade UTAG members to back down on their strike. At the end of the day, they agreed to call off the strike. Now, on the condition that all the outstanding issues, particularly the issue about the market premiums, will be resolved by government. And so they've given government 1 week ultimatum to sit down with UTAG to address all their concerns so that UTAG can, 1 way or the other, get themselves ready and go back to the lecture halls to lecture the stranded students on our various campuses. So for now, we are told that this evening or by close of day tomorrow, UTAG will announce their decision to call off the strike. And so on Monday, they will return to the lecture halls. So students should be assured that on Monday, lectures are going to kickstart and the UTAG members will be in there. So that is the expectation. But again, the committee has directed the minister responsible for education and the Labour Commission and the Labour and Employment Minister that all the outstanding issues, they should address them within 1 week.
I'm grateful, Paka, bringing us a bit of a breaking news there. In fact, if you're watching the JoyNews channel, we understand that Parliament has successfully been able to resolve the deadlock between government and UTAG. Hopefully, the teachers should be in their lecture halls by Monday. We'll keep our eyes on that. But I'm grateful, Paka, that you've been able to give us the latest. Let's talk about this. For some people, the race for attractiveness, marriage, career opportunities, and even socioeconomic status is a function of the skin color. Now, some women will go as far as using all manner of chemicals to achieve a lighter skin tone. The Central Regional Minister, Mrs. Justina Marigoda-San, is particularly concerned about the phenomenon which appears to be cropping into basic schools with students using bleaching creams. Joining us to discuss the health implications of all of this is Dr. Janet Ayeboy, who is a dermatologist at the 37 Military Hospital. Grateful to have you here on The Pulse, Madam. Can you give us a sense, first of all, of the cases that come to your outfit and how grave really are these cases?
So first of all, I would like to, thank you for having me. The first comment I will do to your introduction is that it's not a problem of women. So men are bleaching too.
I get that gender parity argument there. Right, that's worth noting.
Yeah, so we have male patients too. Women are more interested in their beauty and we see them more often in the hospital, but we see men with the same side effect of bleaching cream as women. So they come because of side effect of their skin. They develop acne, which is what people normally call the pimples. They develop skin infections. They develop stretch marks, striae. They complain about impaired wound healing. Some women, even the skin becomes so thin that when they need surgery in this area, it will be very difficult for the surgeon to close the area after the surgery. And if you use the bleaching creams long enough, and depending on which bleaching creams you use, you can have systemic side effects like hypertension, diabetes, and worst of all, you can develop skin cancer.
And I mean, help us with this. How much of a problem is it if I decide to just give a lighter tone to my skin? Is it really a health hazard, something that you should be very much wary of?
So everything I just mentioned is the consequence of this, I just want a lighter tone. So people have the impression that there's a difference between bleaching and toning and whitening and glowing. It's all the same. It's the same products that are used. Some people use several products at the same time. Some use them more often and will have a more distinctive result, but they are not different drugs for toning and another one for bleaching. It's all the same medication and they can all have the side effects that I just mentioned.
Can you really have a situation, a health condition where some prescriptions will be made that you need to lighten your tone? Is that a possibility? Does it arise at any point?
There are skin conditions. So black skin has the disadvantage to cause post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. So you have some skin condition like eczema or acne, and then when the condition is gone, the skin has darkened at this area. So this is the reason to use drugs to stop that from happening and to reverse it. But when we talk about bleaching, we mean changing the color from head to toe, not just to change the hyperpigmentation that arises at the place of inflammation. And the head to toe, the main difference is the quantity. So if I want to change my skin color from head to toe, I will have to use a lot of the drugs that can allow that, and then I have to deal with the side effects.
The concern for many of those who are going for these services, the concern has been about the fact that some of them are not really confident in their color. So aside the health conditions and otherwise, there are some factors that go beyond the immediate reasons for which people come for such services. What do you have to say about that? That the concern that some people are just not comfortable and confident in their complexion?
Yes, I think they are not confident because in Ghana, among other places, we are in Ghana, so I will talk about Ghana. We allow the advertising companies to tell us that lighter is better. In the advertisement, you see pure skin, you see glow, you see beautiful. And even in the Akan language, Obroni and love is put at the same level. So the confidence, we have to restart telling people that black is beautiful. So we have to telling people that it's okay and it's good to be black, and inform the people that to be black is an advantage compared to be white. The main complaint of white people, or the main fear of white people, is to die of skin cancer. This is a problem that is reduced in black skin. Then people always want to be young and look young. Again, black skin had the advantage of aging very slowly compared to white skin. So yeah, so you, the media, the advertising company, we have to stop to use mixed people or very fair people to advertise for beauty products, giving the impression that the color is part of the beauty.
You operate obviously in a public hospital. The question will be about the picture. Paint the picture to us. How often do you have people coming for help as a result of the complications using these toxic chemicals?
I have them every day, but they're usually not, they don't come and say, I have a problem with skin bleaching. They come and say they have some rashes and they think it's in their blood. And then when you look at it, you can all relate it to the skin products that they are using. I see that every day. Every day I see patients, I see side effect of skin bleaching.
Interesting. You have an association, of course, you're a member of the Dermatological Association. What are you doing as an association to provide some level of education to the population on the dangers involved in bleaching?
So we are organizing talks. We are informing the public. We go to churches. We talk to doctors to help them recognize side effects of bleaching, because the patient will not come and say, I have problem with bleaching. So we need to be able to recognize it and to inform them. We have even made a film about skin bleaching that is available online. where we discuss the side effect of skin bleaching and why people do want to bleach. Yeah, I think this is what we are doing.
Interesting points there. But beyond your level, there are concerns that we should be considering regulatory measures, measures that will come obviously from policy decision makers. Is that the best option at checking all of these happenings?
What has been done already? So the Food and Drug Board has worked together with the Ghana Society of Dermatology, and hydroquinone has been banned, which is one of the bleaching products. It has been banned from sale in cosmetic shops. Unfortunately, many people use corticosteroids to bleach their skin, and they are available in pharmacies. They are supposed to be available only on prescription to treat inflammatory conditions of the skin. And unfortunately, in many pharmacies, you can just get them like that, or even in filling station or on the street. So yes, more needs to be done to to make it more difficult to get access to these products.
And I guess in this conversation, there's obviously a group of people that we need to be fair to, those who are innocent, very much unaware of the implications of the type of body creams they use. Some do, in the end, have effects on their complexion. How about these innocent group of people? How do they deal with their concerns?
I didn't get that. Which are the innocent people?
Well,
who are the innocent people?
Persons who are not really aware of the kinds of body creams they should be using, because some of them also do contain these harmful chemicals, right?
Okay, you can buy a cream and be unaware that it's a bleaching cream or that it contains bleaching agents. But when your skin color starts changing, I think you should see it.
Yeah.
It is not, you can't, I mean, it's visible. I can see it. If I can see it, although I don't know you, you should see it because you know yourself when you had your original color. So the bleaching doesn't happen overnight. Like the picture you are showing now, we are talking about years and decades of bleaching. So it doesn't happen overnight. So you see it, and the advertisement, nobody expects you to be a chemical engineer or a chemist and understand what is inside. The advertisement tells you to have a brighter skin, to have a lighter skin, to have a fairer skin. The advertisement tells you what you are getting.
I guess that's all for now, but I'm grateful for your time. That's Dr. Janet Ayiboye joining us, a dermatologist, speaking to us on this increasing spate of bleaching. Thanks for staying with us on the Pulse. We have more coming your way. Stay with us. We'll return with sports as well. Will be coming up shortly. Stay with us. Well, thanks for staying with us here on the Pulse. Indications we're getting is that small businesses in Ghana's economy are beginning to realize a quick start after the COVID-19 pandemic and its effects. That's contained in the Business Tracker report being spearheaded by the Ghana Statistical Service. Fortunately, we have Francis Mensah, who's coordinator for the program, joining us via Zoom now to have a conversation on the details of this report that's just coming out. Francis, such a pleasure to have you at this moment to break down all of the figures to us. In fact, we know that we have a lot contained in this reports that gives hope, at least to those in the SME sector here in Ghana. But first of all, give us a picture of what's happening to these businesses and what the initial findings are in that business tracker. We seem to be having a challenge hearing you. If you could just unmute for us so we can hear you this time around, Francis.
Thank you.
Yes.
Pleasure is mine. So right now, as is indicated, the business tracker survey started in 2020 and is to follow over 4,000 firms who want to find the impact of COVID on their businesses. So we had 3 waves of the tracker. So this report, we're looking at a panel of about 3,600 of the firms that we followed for the 3 waves. So our motivation for this round was to see whether there has been a recovery, and if they have, what is the pathway of that recovery?
Right.
We'll find out whether the government stimulus package had an impact on firms. So we look at the sales, looking at the recovery from three perspectives. We look at from the sales perspective, access to inputs and finances. So from the sales perspective, we realize that between wave 1 and wave 3, we see an increase in sales of businesses, especially we ask for the change of sales a year compared to a year ago. Unlike wave 1, wave 2, where we saw less than 10% change in sales, in the third wave, which was done last year, September last year, we saw close to about 33% increase in sales. So we went further to really find out what is really driving this, which sector is really driving this, and whether it's as a result of the impacts, the government intervention. Yes, we asked firms whether they receive any intervention from government. So for those that indicated that yes, we received some intervention, we assess the impact. So from that, we saw that yes, the impact had effect on their sales positively, but it's more of the small scale firms that experience much impact or positive impact. So unlike the wave 1 and the wave 2, where we saw dip or change in the sales of firms, in the wave 3, we realized that firms, especially in the top 35, they were the drivers of the sales that we were seeing.
We have some specific sectors making more waves than others. Or is this just cutting across for everybody?
Specifically, when we look at the sectors, we could see that the manufacturing sector saw an increase in sales. When you compare to the situation that existed during the second wave, i.e. that is 2021, the change in sales moved from 6.9% to around 37%. And the food and accommodation subsector, whereas they were heavily affected during the COVID. So looking at a sales change of 1.3 during the first wave of the survey, we saw a jump to around 30% or close to 40% in their sales. And trade also saw heavy increase in their sales from about 7% during the second wave to close to about 50%, 46% in the third wave.
So what's likely to be the implication for Ghana's economy, and what projections are you making? What are we likely to see in the coming days or years?
From the increase in sales, yes, we expect that maybe to have effect in the GDP as we compute them. And if the recovery continues as we expect, then we expect full recovery of the firms, because we've seen a lot of the firms reopen, even though we have some that are still closed.
Okay, so largely our GDP will have some boost there, but for the fact that this is just concerning SMEs, how about the bigger organizations? Are there any findings that you made of them, and are things looking promising for the sector as well?
So the survey actually did not only cover the SME,
right.
Cover both the medium and the large firm enterprises. Actually, the sampling is from the integrated business establishment survey, about 600,000 firms that we had. So what we are trying to say, the impact of government intervention was hardly seen on the small scale and the medium firms. So if the impact is spread across all the other sectors, i.e. the large and the medium, then we expect that sales will improve. And when sales and all other things being equal, we expect that maybe it will reflect in the growth of the economy.
Okay, I'm grateful. Francis Mensah is the coordinator for the COVID-19 business tracker, spearheaded by the Ghana Statistical Service. When we return here on The Pulse, we'll bring you some sports news.
Premier League has been home to some Cameroonians this season. Before they came in, a lot of people didn't know about them. In fact, I'm sure very few people knew about them. And Asante Kotoko, went to get them as well. First of all, what was your first impressions when you heard that these two Cameroonians were in the Ghana Premier League?
Cameroonian players have not really had the greatest of destinations in the recent past, because we are gone past the days of Samuel Eto'o going to Barcelona, or Wome going to Inter Milan, or even Patrick Mboma playing for Parma. Now we hear most players in Cameroon going to places like Indonesia, Oman, or going to North Africa in Morocco. So when they moved over to Ghana, I was a little bit skeptical that these guys could go somewhere better, because the Ghana Premier League is not really known in Cameroon like maybe the guys from Morocco or down in South Africa. But now, I think their play now is changing a little bit my mentality about the Ghana Premier League and other persons too in Cameroon here.
Now, what can you tell us about the two players?
Okay, the two players, the truth is, before they could go to the Ghana Premier League, they were not really spoken about. And it's because the league itself in Cameroon was not really stable. We would play and have breaks, But when you look at the path of the two players, they are actually very talented players. They've really progressed. A player like Frank Abela Etuga, who is scoring now, he played last season for the team that was sensational, little known, AS Fortuna out here in Cameroon. AS Fortuna, through the league system, came out second, and they played the last four of the league. They just lost in the semi-finals. They could not make the finals, which shows that he was coming from a very good team. And Josh Fege, he was a captain of Avion Ducam. And he has been a player who has been progressing over the years. He was even the second highest goal scorer in the league last season. So it shows how he has been progressing. And one other thing is, Fege George, got the opportunity to be selected in the under-23 Lions by Rigobert Song in 2019. So though the media hasn't really projected these players because of the nature of the league, they are very talented players. I think it brings us to the point where if there is a better media coverage, most of these players will be known even before they have to go out and carry out exploits elsewhere.
Now let's focus on Etuga, because obviously he's the one who is scoring the goals at the moment. Exactly. Him in particular, obviously, because of the numbers that he's making this season, surely will be getting some attention in Cameroon. Is that the case?
Yes, it's big news over here. It's big news. The first thing I'm going to congratulate the Ghanaian press is the projection that they give of their league, because it's how you brand your league that make people follow. There are other players who are having the same performance, but they are not being projected. But coming to Etuga, once he signed, I remember there's a Ghanaian who asked a question. I think he was a fan of Asante Kotoko. He asked if he was good, and I said he was very good, because I could follow, since I had an interest in the league as a sports journalist and analyst, I could follow his progression. But the truth is he's exceeding the expectation that I had of him, because now he's scoring for fun, good for the club side that he plays for. It shows the first thing that he's young and ambitious and he's ready to work, because some players actually leave Cameroon and you don't really see their performance, and after you see them dropping, but it shows how performant he is. When you look at his goals, especially, you'd see, I think the last game where he scored a hat-trick, his third goal, you could see how he can easily play off with the defenders and get on to strike and get his goals. So Frank Etuga, he's one for the future, especially at the level of the Cameroon national team, where we are lacking at the level of having so many finishers. We have so many strikers, but we don't have so many good strikers, because there's a difference between the two. There are so many strikers, but there are very few good strikers. And if he continues with this performance, I think he'll be one very good striker for the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon.
Nice one. What about the junior teams as well, under 23 and so on?
Yeah, that's another problem that Cameroonian football has been facing for the past few years. The junior teams, there's no real progression. You know, there's no real follow-up. I remember Cameroon won the under-20s, the under-17 African Cup of Nations in 2019. And since then, there's nothing that you can really write about that team. You cannot really. And last year, you could see the performance of the under-20 team at the AFCON out there in Mauritania. And until the preparations of the Indomitable Lions for the Africa Cup of Nations, you could not really see any progression, or it was just a 1 week program that was called for the under-20 and the under-23 squad in France, and it was only for foreign-based players. So I think the National Technical Directorate in Cameroon would need to step up on it, the discovery of these talents, because most of these players, before they have to become the professionals, the Abubakars, the Umgwets, they played in Cameroon. They were youngsters in Cameroon. So before these talents are discovered and exported, we should already know them. For example, I'll get back to Ghana again, because Ghana has been a little bit, has been on a stable mood for a while. You could see the progression of the 2009 World Cup winning under-20 squad. You could see their integration into the national team. You could see how they could perform for the national team, which is not the same case in Cameroon. But I think we've been changing. It's been changing for a while, because we could see some players during this Africa Cup of Nations, like Omosola, who played through all the youth under-20, under-23 squad, even for the intermediate. Umgwetu, Martin Hongla too did same. So if from these examples, the National Technical Directorate can put more fire under the coaches to do more detection work, then I think Cameroon will be better.
Okay, all right. So the big game is this weekend in Ghana, Asante Kotoko versus Hearts of Oak, and the two Cameroonians, you know, are taking a significant part of the headlines as well. How will that game be consumed in Cameroon? I mean, seeing as your league currently, if I'm not wrong, is not currently running, is it? The Premier League.
It's not running.
It's not running. Yeah. How will Asante Kotoko versus Hearts be consumed, especially with the Cameroonians taking the headlines in that game?
Oh, one thing for sure is that there'll be a lot of attention. There'll be a lot of attention, because people now are discovering the Ghana Premier League, and now they want to see exactly who are these players. They want to see this particular player, especially Frank Etuga, who is being projected. And he's not projected just because he's getting the attention because of his performance. So many persons will be coming this weekend knowing that they are coming to watch this particular player that the media has. You know, we are in an era where social media has made it easy. So it just takes 5 minutes for about 100 persons to talk or reshare a particular story and it explodes. So one thing for sure is there'll be a lot of persons connecting to, I don't know which particular TV station in Ghana shows the league, but I think so many persons this weekend will be connecting to watch that derby. And it will be a great one. It reminds us of a certain Atem Valentine. I wrote an article on that a few days back. We did not have the opportunity between 2003 and 2007 when Atem Valentine played in Ghana to watch him play. So now this is an opportunity for us to watch George Mfege and Frank Mbela play in Ghana, and I wish them all the best.
In Ghana, we call Frank Mbela Etuga. He's usually known as Etuga, but I see Cameroonians call him Mbela. Is there a reason why?
I can't really say there's a reason why, but I think it's easier to pronounce the Mbela than Etuga. Okay. But there's no particular reason why. He actually has about four names. So there could be a melange, and Cameroonians, since Mbela comes before Etuga, they'll prefer to end at Mbela.
Mbela, all right, okay. Thank you so much for letting us in on these two good talents, and hopefully they go on from here to represent Cameroon and represent, you know, what you stand for well. Thank you very much.
Just to bring in something, I saw some few Ghanaians already saying that they would like to see him play for Ghana, especially Frank Etuga. So,
and I saw a few tweets about that as well. People saying that they want him to naturalize, because you know Ghana has a few striking issues at the moment. Sorry, and you could see that at the Apco also. How does that make you feel? That, I mean,
my message to Ghanaians is that we have the same problem. Though we cannot continue counting forever on Abubakar, Toko, or Chupo. They are getting advanced in their age, and we need their successors. And Mbela is surely one of the successors.
Thank you very much. Always a pleasure speaking to you.